In this video, I'm going to show you from start to finish how I painted this using oil paints, palette knives, and a few brushes. Here's the reference photo that I'm painting today, kindly given to me from my sister in the UK. A lovely sunrise that she captured on while she was walking a dog, I think. So colours I'm using are titanium white, cadmium yellow deep, cadmium red, cerulean blue, ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, and my medium is Gamblin solvent-free gel. And the surface today is 10 by 10 inch wood panel, which seems massive compared to the previous tutorials I've been working on. And I'm just mixing up a random batch of colours, really. I'm not going to adhere to the reference photo exactly. I'm just going to make it up a little bit and change up a few things. And I'm just getting a bit of interest, really, in this purple. Tonally, it'd be a little bit lighter for the sky for sure. And because it's a bigger surface that I'm usually used to working on, I'm just going to mix up the first color really. So most of the sky is this purpley sort of blue color that I'm going to add in now. So it's very simple. Nothing complicated yet. Ran into a few troubles along the way, which you'll see me in about 5 minutes time, and kind of fix it and really get sort of enjoy the painting more. Yeah, in about 5 minutes time you'll see me do that. Brushes I'm using are from Rosemary & Co, the Ivory Flats. I'll leave a link in the description below. And the surface I'm using is acrylic. What is it? It's Michael Hardin's non-absorbent acrylic primer. Love the stuff, been using it for a while now. And I'll leave a link in the description below in the supplies link, and you can get yourself some of that amazing stuff. So nothing too complicated here. Pretty simple so far. Just adjusting that same mix slightly just for some interest within the sky. The picture, it looked like the picture was showing some kind of like brush marks from its own. I don't know, it was really weird. Like, I kind of like that, so I'm gonna be keeping most of those brush strokes showing in the sky, but I'm going to be adjusting it accordingly. I'm going to blend some areas and have some areas, well, not blended, but I like the sort of direction that these brush strokes are working with, that's happening in the sky. So I kept this part pretty simple, and yeah, it was, I don't know, I wasn't feeling very confident today. It's been a bit of a long couple of weeks at work, and well, I had to paint today. I mean, it's as shooting this video, it's Christmas in the next couple of days, and I wanted to paint something just before the holidays. I was going to paint a really complicated piece, but I wasn't really in the mood. This was quite complex to some degree, but I was really happy with the outcome of this piece, and I certainly didn't overwork it. It took about 30 minutes, and yeah, I'm just doing a random kind of voiceover, bit about my thought process, and I'm gonna just talk to you whilst drinking a cup of tea. Excuse me. So I really like tea at the moment. Typical Brit guy liking tea. Weird, eh? So I've been drinking tea for about 2 months now. Fruit tea, caffeine with or without, I don't care. I love the stuff. I feel like I'm more focused. But yeah, you're going to see me use a palette knife in about 5 minutes time. That's where the fun really sort of, began, in my opinion. Was a bit of a struggle. I mean, maybe, yeah, as I said, I wasn't feeling very confident today. I'm a little bit tired. I thought I was getting sick last week, but I wasn't. Just feeling a bit run down. But I had to paint, and I'm so glad I did. Like, there were times it's in there, we don't get much time. I don't get much time to paint, unfortunately. I do paint at work, thank goodness. But when I'm painting for me, it's Time is, more time to paint would be better. And I'm glad I did paint because I really sort of pushed through my insecurities when it came to this piece. And I'm really happy with the outcome. And you're going to see it with the palette knife with lots of paint. Like, I felt like a 3D kind of like a sculpture, throwing clay around and really sort of like building um, something. It was really, really fun. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the struggles and the highs and lows of this painting. So again, same mix, slightly smaller brush there. Um, just sort of just laying it in quite thin for now because I'm going to be working over the top of most of this and just indicating that sort of really light, almost white blue sky. And it's all fairly loose, and I'm going for this kind of mad mix of impressionism, abstraction, and a little tiny bit of realism. So what I found is my best practice is using starting off by using brushes, paint brushes, and being fairly loose but quite strategic. So I want some areas blended, some areas not, and really sort of trying to um, create something that I feel that's kind of happening. Like I get a feeling of what I want to do, and um, I love these brushes that does kind of that they do sort of help with what I want to create when it comes to sort of hard edges, soft edges, and then I go for a touch of realism with a bit of impressionism, and then I sort of begin to break things up with the palette knife, which you'll see me later. You'll see me do later, and here I'm just going for some sort of like coral color to indicate some warmth in the sky, in the clouds, sorry, because this was a sunrise picture and it's an absolutely beautiful reference photo. Um, and I just begin by finding my feet still. I mean, we're almost 8 minutes into the video, into the painting, and here I just added some ultramarine blue. I don't know why. Like, I don't know. I wasn't really there yet when it came to painting this. Not sure why. Maybe just not feeling very confident and a bit insecure. Maybe the size. I mean, it's this 10 by 10 is just a monster. It's huge compared to my little 5 by 5s and 8 by 8s. It's just such a massive difference. And I got a 12-inch board, which I'll probably attempt to do in the new year. The really complicated piece, but yeah, maybe it was that. And I'm still finding maybe overthinking a little bit and yeah, this painting took me 30 minutes, and I'm glad that I um, persevered and kept um, kept going with it really because I'm really happy with the outcome. And I said everything that I wanted to say in this piece um, by using the materials, by just getting through it and not overthinking things because I could have overworked this painting, and I'm glad I didn't. So I've got an old dagger brush there, which I'm just softening some areas, and it's not. I knew at this point that I'm going to be sort of adding to this what I already have put down, and it's not a mistake. It's just part of the process because you're also going to see me remove paint, and I just added some more of that cadmium yellow deep and some cadmium yellow lights because I'm now going to go for a sort of mustardy colour by adding some of that burnt sienna. And this is really where the fun began, in my opinion. It's 10 minutes into the painting, and it took me 10 minutes to really go for it. And I'm glad that I used the brushes to begin with, even though I wasn't feeling very confident in what I was doing. I'm glad I have that now as a base to really sort of break things up and add that abstract slash impressionistic element that I adore so much. Now a lot of paint here, and I'm pushing down pretty quite strong there, and just grazing that across to start the indication of that warm sky. So this is well, it's paint straight from the tube. It's at its best. I mean, it's not thinned down with anything. It's just a paint and a lot of it, and it really, for me, it's nice to play with different like applications of paint. So you can get like thin paint and thick paint in the same painting. It really gives the painting a more sort of depth and dynamic and more atmosphere, in my opinion. So I usually keep the highlights pretty thick, and then perhaps the shadows pretty thin. So here, a lot of paint, and it's literally covering up almost everything I put down previously. And just getting some abstraction there, and it's really grazing. And as I said, you're going to see me move things around and blend things out and cut into the paints and really move around the paint. Really kind of see what I can do in the 30 minutes that I gave myself, because yeah, I could have overworked this painting, and glad I didn't. I had a blast painting the grass that you're going to see shortly. I really went from being worried to really owning the piece. I think it comes with confidence when you're working with the palette knife, because there is an element of it can be unpredictable when you're working with the palette knife here. I have an idea. There's definitely a bit of method in my madness, but I love it so much. I generally feel like a ninja when I'm using this palette knife, and it's so versatile. It really allows me to create something that I couldn't create just by using brushes alone. That's why I use I got the best of both worlds. I start with a brush, do a basic layout, or a block in, and really play with the palette knife. Here I'm just knocking. I just got some oil paint, I think, on the side of the panel, so I just took it off there. So here I'm going to go for a dark mix, which a combination of ultramarine blue and burnt sienna, about 50-50. And that gives me like a really nice natural black, which is what I don't use black in my painting, like black from the tube. I like to mix my own. And sometimes I can tint the black as well by adding in, I don't know, cadmium reds or whatever. But here I want the almost like the maximum, like the darkest part, because I want a bit of contrast in this, because I think when you're working this big, well, this big for me, a bit of contrast and a little bit of darkness is nice, I guess. So just indicating some trees, and I'm not painting trees, I'm painting like shapes. And I have the reference photo to my left on the computer. I just picked out a small palette knife there, and I'm just creating the indication of yeah, trees, bushes, and maybe some houses, without painting all the little details with a tiny little rigger brush. I want to say as much as I can in this kind of like abstract, broken way, really, and it's so much fun. There is, there are. A wise man once said, "We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents." Um, and he was right, because you're going to see that happens with the palette knife. and it's the beauty and the capturing the spontaneity and the impression of a painting that you do in one sitting. It really is. It does take thought, but it's so like once you get involved and stuck in, and it's so enjoyable. Like you have so much power to move paint around, and you're going to see me moving paint um, off the surface slightly. So here I'm just blending just a little bit with, I think that's an old filbert brush there, um, and almost like making a cake with all this kind of madness going on. And it was about here where I thought to myself, what am I doing? Like, what is the point? Do I give up now or do I just keep going? And I thought that for about 10 seconds and I was fine. Like, I just kept going, you know. Um, and here I'm just cutting in, I saw a bit of pink cloud in the sky there, and I'm just going to blend that back shortly, or add a brush into that. But yeah, really happy with how this came out, even though now I'm thinking, oh my goodness, like, what's the point? What's going on? It looks crazy. So here, take the paint off. Well, I was leaving a little bit of that, I wouldn't say mistake, but the progress. Like, it was barely fighting with it. I mean, I've overworked paintings before. I've had fights with paintings. I've chewed on paintings, not literally. But I think that if it wasn't for that non-absorbent acrylic primer by Michael Harding, it would be quite difficult to remove. Like because the paint's there, it's not being absorbed into the surface, and that along with the um, hard MDF wood panel, it really does help me um, to feel in more control. So I've got a smaller palette knife there, and I'm scraping, and I like this kind of parts of this kind of texture in my works, and also it's like it's slightly stains on the canvas, which I want anyway to sort of have that showing for when I add paint on top. So thick paint against that yellowy mustard colour, just to reveal some of that warm sunrise. And here I want a bit more pink to show bit more sort of, yeah, like deeper kind of warmth into that sunrise there. So paper towel just to blend out a little bit. You can also use your finger. You can use the palette knife here. You can use a brush. Different effects when it comes to blending, which I like in my work. Just gives a bit of variation. All right, so here I'm mixing up a green, and not just any type of green. I want an olive green, and I'm just using nope, ultramarine blue with cadmium yellow lights. And there's a little bit of that white in there as well, just for some variation, and some reds to really knock back the saturation, along with burnt sienna. And I'm going to be adding some of that yellow in there as well, just for some variation, perhaps not over mixing um, the the colours, just for some variation and interest, really. Love this green, and I use a lot of this green as well. I really love this kind of like minimalistic area that I have in my works, and this is one of them now in the grass. So it's just like thick, solid color, and it really, in my opinion, really works well with the tonal value of um, that warm sky that I have going on there. Um, and you can see parts of that yellow warm glow that um, in the grass, which sort of contrasts fairly nicely against the dark areas there, but I really love how this worked out. And also I'll be signing the painting here on the bottom right, so it's quite important to have a lot of thick paint so you can scratch into the surface with the toothpick. So I think now's a good time to mention that I do have Patreon, where I share ad-free full tutorials along with exclusive content that I don't share anywhere else online. I also share reference photos for you to use, digital art downloads, and many other things. So if that's something that you might be interested in, then check out the link below, and I hope to see you there. So just indicating some more trees and bushes, and you're going to see me scratch away some of the dark areas to reveal the lights. And just indicating here, for example, now, so that unpredictable element right there, you can see where it blended by accident into the light. So the light sort of blends into the dark area there, and it sort of gives a natural sort of glow. I didn't intend for that to happen, but I love it, so I'm keeping it there. And just scratching in some areas really into the palette knife, and I'm also adding in some distant things really in the distant, which you can do with the palette knife. You can cut through the paints there. But yeah, it's just giving myself enough time to really um, capture what's going on without working so slow and so meticulous, and just enjoying the process in, I could even say, in a little bit of an expressive way in some areas. So here I'm just picked up a little bit of paint on the edge of the palette knife just to add that. It looks like it's sort of coming off slightly off the tree. Um, and yeah, I mean, I generally had a blast painting this. I mean, well, the first 10 minutes wasn't a blast. It was a bit, okay, what's going on? What am I doing with my life? Is this worth it? And it really was. Like, and I'm so glad I didn't get stuck having to, for like an hour over painting this. So here I'm just gonna show a little bit of that cool light, which sort of sits next to that dark tree. And you'll see me add a little bit more blue in a second. And just cutting in really. And it's nice to put your cool colors with warm colors if you can, and just blended back a little bit of that pink clouds. And I think here I just added a bit of an aeroplane that was sort of flying past in the picture. And it's all about pressure again. As I mentioned before, the palette knife, it's all practice pressure. I'm still working things out for sure. I mean, I'm just documenting things with you, and I hope it's given you a bit of value into my process of painting. But I just love it. I mean, here, look at that. I mean, it's so abstract there, and it looks so effective. And it's something that you just can't do with a brush. That's why I use both, the best of both worlds, brush and palette knife. Just to get that like modern, fresh kind of feeling and look that I really love in paintings. And I love the process as well, and just love all of it really, or the battle that we have sometimes as artists, and the outcomes, the learning factor, because we are still learning, all of us, I believe. And here, that's an old mongoose flat I've had for a while, and just blending a little bit and pushing some areas down. Just playing with direction really for those of that wet paint. But not over blending everything, just some certain areas, just pushing back and softening some areas. It's really important to play with your edges as well. So hard edges and soft edges really do make for an interesting piece. So here I just picked up titanium white with cerulean blue because I want some really thick, um, light, like vibrant blue that's going to sit next to the trees on the left. That's what I saw in the piece, and I like that, so I wanted to keep that in the in the reference photo. So I scraped away a bit of paint there just to make it a bit easier for me to lay the blue on top. And boom, nice, thick, juicy, chunky, light blue paints, which looks nice with the reds and the warm colors. It just really just gives the painting like it just makes it more harmonious. It's such a basic color palette, and it just works together nicely, I believe. Keeping your palette simple, your color palette simple. Um, yeah, I got a bit of dark there in the sky by accident, but that's fine. I can just wipe it away, or just cover it, or scrape it away. I really love creating this. I'm glad I didn't overwork it. Um, I perhaps should have probably had another panel on ready already gessoed up, but I didn't. So decided to have a little talk with you and about the process of how I painted this. I hope it helped. Just want to say thank you so much for being here with me today. Really do appreciate you, and if you've spent this whole time with me, and you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, then consider subscribing and hit the little notification bell to be notified for when I upload my next video. I try and make a video once a week, a full tutorial. Done pretty well, been pretty consistent so far in the last like 6 or 7 weeks. And I just love giving value, like showing my process, just talking with you, having a cup of tea. And I just hope it helps someone. And if it does help you, if it has helped and you've made it this far, let me know in the comments. Really love to hear from you. And also, if you like tea, let me know in the comments because I love it now. The last sort of couple of months, love tea. I feel more focused with tea. Probably should stop talking about tea, but I love it. I'm obsessed with it. I had, I think, 5 or 6 cups yesterday, caffeine free. Love it. Um, yeah, so I'm just signing my painting here with a toothpick, and that's it. Almost, well, about 30 minutes to paint this. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed me rambling on and seeing my process. And thank you so much for watching again. And I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day and take care for now.